Hi, are you thinking about garden or outdoor lighting? Well, today I'm going to share with you the 5 most common errors, mistakes that we see that people make in garden lighting. I'm Barry Sleuters. I'm one of the co-owners and lighting designers at the Garden Lighting Company, where we transform outdoor spaces into stunning night scenes. So let's get right into it. What are the 5 most common errors in garden lighting and outdoor lighting? One is glare, the other is color temperature, overlighting, buying low quality fittings, and buying fittings without a plan. I'm going to go into more detail of those, and the video will be time stamped so you can jump straight ahead if you want. The first one is glare. This is my biggest pet hate altogether. What is glare? Too much light, lighting that causes eye strain, lighting that makes you not want to look at it. The most common examples that I find of glare are that a light is too high. So often people have a light on a wall which they're shining down onto a table, and you're sitting there enjoying a nice barbecue or something with your friends, but you're sitting there like this because the light over there is right in your eyes. So the careful positioning of the lights is the most important. The second one I see all too often, usually installed by people that don't know what they're doing, other trades trying to do garden lighting, and that is lights mounted in a deck or in the tread of a step that are facing straight up. Now, there is no good reason to have a light in a deck lighting straight up or a tread unless it's got something to light. But so far as steps are concerned, absolute no-no, because as you walk down the steps, which is when you need the most light, which is when people have the most falls, all you see is this light going straight up into your eyes, blinding you. So that's an absolute no-no. Also on steps, if you have them in the riser, which is a good place to have them, or beside the step, make sure it's a light fitting that has an eyelid so that you don't look straight into the lamp itself. And the last one is lights that are just shining in the wrong area. So what are the keys to take away? Think very carefully about where you position the light. See what you can do to eliminate or minimize the glare, such as eyelids, shade, honeycomb filter inside of the fitting, which will just reduce the glare somewhat. Number 2, ignoring color temperature. Well, you might be saying, what is color temperature? Color temperature is the tone, if you like, the coloring of the lamp. Now, I'm not talking about colored lights, colored lamps such as red, blue, green, that type of thing. I'm talking about the color temperature. Now, most people have seen it. What we use, and all the images you see on our website, are predominantly warm white. The other color temperature is cold white. Now, these are measured by Kelvin, or abbreviated as K. So the closest to daylight, which is what we like to use, is 2700 to 3000 Kelvin. That gives you the most natural look, draws out the lovely color in your garden, and just produces a beautiful, beautiful effect. Now, where the issue arises is when you have a garden that has predominantly warm white, and then you change a lamp, or the installer has put in a cold white lamp, which you can see from the images behind me. One is warm white and the other one is cold white, and they just scream at one another. Easily fixed. Take the lamp out, get one that's the right color temperature, and it will all look beautiful. Number 3, overlighting spaces. That's also common. It spoils your night scene. Lovely subtly lit gardens producing lovely silhouettes are all about the right fitting in the right location with the right lamp. So overlighting can be a result of too many lights, too powerful lights, or the beam angle being wrong. What I mean, the beam angle can either be very fine spotlight, or it can be very, very wide beam angle like a floodlight. Not hard to fix, but don't overlight. We always try to underlight because it's so much easier and more cost effective to underlight and add lights to it later if you think, oh, there should be 1 or 2 more here. But overlighting, particularly on sculptures and trees, can result on burnout where parts of your night scene are just too bright. So under light, subtle lighting, one of the rules we go by is that if you can't see the stars, your lighting's not right, it's too bright. Don't overlight. Number 4, buying lights without a plan. This is the light fittings. So often I have people that go to a lighting shop and they like the look of this light, they like the look of that light because it looks okay, but they haven't thought about the plan. What is it that you're really wanting to do? You're wanting to light some steps, wash across a path, highlight some artwork, highlight a water feature, or whatever it is. You need to have an idea of what it is you're wanting to achieve and then buy the fitting to do what you want it to do to achieve that result. So the thing is, don't buy without a plan. Get a bit of an idea of what it is you're wanting to do, the area you're wanting to light, how much light you're wanting, and think about the previous point about not overlighting. Go for wider beam angles rather than narrow beam angles when you're lighting plants and sculptures. And then when you have a bit of an idea, then look at buying your correct fitting to do the job you want it to do. The best thing is to get advice from someone, particularly or only I would say from somebody who knows what they're doing, who has installed and designed many installations. A good garden lighting designer. We at the Garden Lighting Company, for instance, have been doing this for over 35 years, and myself or my team are very happy to have a chat with you about your needs, and we can make recommendations about which are the best lights. So have that plan. Point 5, using low quality fittings. Sadly, I see this so often, where folk have still paid a reasonable amount of money, and then anything from 1 to 5 years later, the fittings have failed. So the cheap lights become expensive because they didn't last. And now you have to replace them with a good quality light. So make sure that you buy a good, or whoever's installing your lights installs a really good quality light. What is a good quality light, you might be asking? Well, we use predominantly Moonscape because they have been making lights right here in New Zealand for over 35 years. How do you know if a light's good? One of our measures is what's the warranty. Moonscape give a complete 10-year warranty on all their low voltage lighting, which means you don't have to worry about it for years. What are some of the things that break down? You've seen some of the photos behind me of lights that have failed. Often it's the components that hold them together. It might be that they're powder coated, but they haven't been, the aluminium underneath has not been anodized or marine grade standard. That things just break, not waterproof. It just goes on and on. So many of the lights look very nice in the showroom. And quite frankly, a quality light and a cheap light can look similar in the showroom, but it's how they last. So if you have one thing to go by when it comes to choosing your lights, look at the warranty. We also use Hunza and Switch, both made in New Zealand, both good quality products. And like I said, if in doubt, get professional advice from somebody who actually knows. Not just somebody that's trying to sell you one brand, but someone who has seen the lights, gone to many installations at night, years later, and seen the quality of the lights. We've been doing this for 35 years. We've seen so many of the Moonscape lights 20, 30 years down the track. In fact, I've got some in my own home, over 35 years they've been in, still working well. Don't compromise on the lights. Cheap lights will end up being expensive all too often. So to recap, the 5 areas or 5 mistakes we see most often, and there are others, are glare, mixed color temperatures, overlighting, buying fittings without a plan, and settling for lower quality fittings. Don't hesitate to pick up the phone or send us an email. We are here to help. We do not want you to make mistakes. We want you to enjoy your outdoors at night with the best possible lighting. Oh, and please, maybe give us a like. that helps other people find us and it gets the word out. Thanks so much. Bye.